All right, I think we're live. Push one in the chat if you can hear me. All right, got a confirmation from the chat. Thank you for the confirmation. Welcome back to the Black Brain Trust. This is OpenChat number 91. Please hit the like button as you come in, share the video if possible, and hit that notification bell so you get all the updates from the Black Brain Trust. There'll be a Zoom link in the chat for you to click on and join. Before you join, just hit your Zoom update button and update your Zoom client before joining, because it's important that we're all on the same page with the same software so that we don't have any issues on the panel. I wasn't going to do this stream, but AB Media decided to take a few shots at us. And he's playing our content as if, he's making some critical points that we didn't make, or we didn't understand what was being said. We misinterpreted. No, that's not true. We played his content in its entirety and we responded to it in kind. That being said, what I'm going to do is share my screen real quick. Okay. Let me share my screen. All right. Actually, let me play AB Media stream so that we're, we have a better understanding of what's going on here. I think that provides some context. What's going on? All right. Let me share my screen. Let me know if you can see the screen.
significantly raise the national borrowing cost, threaten economic growth, like interest rates for consumers' loans and like credit cards and mortgages. So, in other words, them lowering the credit rating is going to encourage them to upgrade the interest rates even more. But our economy is doing great, right? Right. Hmm. Analysts downplay the. Oh, okay, wait a minute. I think I read that. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen criticized the decision made by Fitch. I hope I pronounced that right. In a statement Tuesday. In a statement on Tuesday, Fitch's decision does not change what Americans, investors, and people all around the world already know that the Treasury Secretaries remain the world's preeminent safe and financial asset. That's being challenged by the BRICS, but okay. And that America economy is is financially strong, Yellen said on Tuesday. Not when you talk to people on the ground. I'm just saying. Yeah. They're running around saying the economy is great, and I know they have to say that because the Democrats are in power, and they feel they have to lie to people. But anyway, here's what to know about what the rate decision means for the economy and your finances. What a credit downgrade means for the economy. Credit rating decisions like the one issued by Fitch on Tuesday center on simple dynamics, the nation's capacity to pay off its growing debt. So yearly spending on the federal government extends tax revenue. The U.S. has occurred tiers of trillions of dollars in debt, requiring the country to make ongoing payments so that it doesn't default on the outstanding loans. The credit downgrade is one of the sequences of development that could eventually lead to investors and to believe the U.S. is less likely to pay off its debt, which is not a good thing. In the case of investors, they would demand higher interest rates for loans, and in turn, U.S. debt would become more costly. In other words, they would do more to try to raise the interest rates and do stuff like that. And we already see what they've done since they've rose the interest rates back earlier this year. 5 banks have failed. 5 banks have failed already since they've rose interest rates. And according to this downgrade, they're probably going to raise interest rates again to keep the dollar strong. So what that basically means is your food prices are probably not going to go down anytime soon, unfortunately. But according to the Black Brain Trust, the economy is doing great, right?
Actually, we provided the sources that confirm what we have been saying the whole entire time from Bloomberg, from CNBC Money. That's not the Black Brain Trust saying that. That's Moody's. That's all the institutions who are involved. Remember, it was, remember we went over this before, that the Biden policies are actually working. The debt ceiling is something separate from the policies. You have a debt ceiling because you have to, the country has to borrow against itself in order to cover its expenses. That has nothing to do with Bidenomics. Now you're reading the article, but you actually don't understand what the article is trying to state because you're too busy trying to go after Joe Biden and go after the Black Brain Trust because you don't actually have any sort of understanding, fundamental understanding of how the system works. You're just completely inept on all of this. So let me just read this right here. This is from Bloomberg. Why the U.S. credit rating was cut by Fitch and what it means. Americans generally expect to be number one at everything. So the downgrade of the economy, the country's credit rating for the, let me zoom in on this. Credit rating for only the second time ever rattled the country's pride in the global financial system. The U.S. was stripped of its top-tier sovereign credit rating by Fitch Ratings on August 1st, echoing a move more than a decade ago by S&P Global Ratings. Both markdowns were spurred by bitter standoffs over the nation's borrowing. History suggests that the impact of the financial markets may be short-lived, though the move could provide fodder for more political battles. Why did Fitch downgrade the U.S. Ratings? Fitch said the one-step downgrade to a rating of AA+ reflects an erosion of governance that has manifested in repeated debt limit standoffs and last-minute resolutions. That's because every few years, through a policy of its own making, the U.S. faces the prospect of a debt default. A law dating to 1917 led to a fixed aggregate dollar limit on borrowing. The debt ceiling, which can be raised only by agreement of Congress and the president. The specter hung over the U.S. for the first half of 2023 as the U.S. grew perilously close to a debt limit of a nearly $31.4 trillion and politicians ran down the clock. Remember, Republicans control the House. Okay, keep that in mind. The standoff was resolved in late May, but it fueled uncertainty again about the commitment of the U.S. political leaders to put risky rhetoric aside and meet bond repayments on a mountain debt burden. This has nothing to do with Bidenomics, okay? Has nothing to do with Bidenomics. Every president since 1917 has raised the debt ceiling in order to cover the expenses. That's all it means. The downgrade by this one institution is just that, a downgrade. It has nothing to do with Biden's policies. There's nothing that Biden can do to shave off the trillions of dollars that were added in the previous administration. They inherited this. But if you don't actually do your research on all of this, then you're always going to be looking like you do on camera, saying the things that you're saying in this article that you don't even understand what's being said. And so you also have this guy here, I Am Jules, saying they don't want people in the sphere getting the position to ask questions because they want the same thing. Oh, really? Is that so? Let me drop the link, I Am Just Jules, and you can come up and you can help defend AB Media because he needs a whole lot of help. We cooked him last week. He's back for more. This time, he's going to get fricasseed, and you can join him. Oh, look at this. Huh? Look at this. Sup, AB? It's interesting to see them try to dismantle a public group that wants to petition potential public officers. Okay. When do you do that? Is that before you do your homework about how the system works, or is it after? Because it doesn't sound like you actually have an understanding of how the system works. The numbers don't lie. Biden passed 300 bipartisan bills. That's double what Trump even passed in his 4 years. He did that in 2 years. He put more Black men in in ranking positions than even the Obama administration did. He's kept all of his commitments, sans that of the student loan debt, but that's a separate issue. But if you take all of his campaign initiatives at its face, he has kept all of his promises, almost all of them. Put 10 of them on the table and I can almost guarantee you 9 of them he has passed. So what's the problem? The problem is you don't understand how the system works. So what you want to do is try to browbeat us into telling you how the system works when you should actually go do your own homework. You don't want to do that. You want everybody else to do it for you. And then you want to come up here and try to debate us. You can't debate us. You haven't done your homework. Go do your homework. Or go ask your master teacher. Go do something, but stop telling us that we said this and we said that. No, what we said, we know what we said.
This button will play.
Gym today, and I didn't even know it was a councilman until one of the older Black men that was there, he pointed it out. And next, you know, he started talking about like they're about to destroy this building complex downtown that has a whole bunch of people in it, and they're saying like, oh, they're going to destroy it. But you see, the deal was before that they weren't going to be able to give us any money unless we, mingling other people into it, and then with other different class of money and stuff in there, we have to mingle it in. And, but since I've been in here for 2 years, the one thing I got them to change into this thing is like 25% of people that was already in this, that was in the previous, that's gonna be even saying anything without him even like giving no like backlash or nothing. Won't get up. You people won't work together. If none of y'all just want to keep going to jail, won't do stuff. And he's a Black man saying this shit.
Well, let me say this, because I can't really take any more of what he's saying. First, he didn't even know who this person was. Number two, you didn't even vote for this city council person. So you're expecting things out of people that are not even in your district to begin with. This is the political illiteracy of a lot of Black men in the Black manosphere. It's not his responsibility to address issues that you have a concern with when he doesn't represent your district. He's not the end all be all of the problems that exist in your city. Know who your politicians are. Know who your elected officials are. Know what the issues of the day are. Know what the issues on the ballot are going to be. These are very basic things that are personally responsible for you.
Now, while what Mike's saying is true, is that how you're going to talk to him? Is that how you're going to inspire a brother like that to change his mind and vote?
And there's so many of these Black men in this space, like this person who jumps on the panel and can't wait to, go in on what he considers to be one of these leftist, do nothing politicians when he doesn't even know who he is. We've been saying this, myself, MOT, there's a lot of political ignorance in this space. A lot of people in here don't have a basic fundamental understanding of civics and government.
And your bright idea is to rub your nose up their nose and tell them to kiss your ass. You don't know what you're talking about, and nobody's gonna listen to you. And that's your bright idea to get brothers more politically active.
No, it's not my idea to get brothers politically active. It's my idea to point out where you're wrong. And the problem is you won't do your damn homework. You instead of sitting on panels talking about Jets Hilarious and all these other Black women and arguing with Black women on panels like you see with PhDs right now as we speak, none of you guys want to do your fucking homework. Do your fucking homework. It's not anybody else's responsibility. It's your responsibility. Go read a fucking book. What's so wrong? What's the difficulty in doing that? What's the difficulty in reading the fucking book? I mean, there's a channel on YouTube called Crash Course. Teaches you everything about American history and civics and government 101. Most of the clips are anywhere between 9 minutes and 15 minutes. Okay. It's not that difficult for you to do it, but you guys don't want to do it because you think it's not required to actually do so. That's part of the issue in this space. Someone needs to catch me up to speed and tell me what's going on. No, you need to do your own homework. If you can sit on the panel for 2, 3, and 4 hours talking about women, you can surely sit down for 15 minutes and go read something about what's going on in your city, in your state. What the hell's the matter with you? What's wrong with you? Anyways, I'm not gonna belabor this, man. I feel like a bully, or people call us bullies for going after people like this. I find it interesting that, it's everybody else's responsibility to bring you up to speed, but not you. After we've already addressed him last week, after we've already figured out what his issues of the day are, no different than any other Democrat, he wants to pretend like we're trying to force him to vote for Biden. Nobody ever said that. Okay? No one ever said that. What's going on, Renaissance, man?
Hey, what's up, Mike?
Chilling, bro. What's going on, MOT?
What's wrong, man?
Hey, what's up? No, I was gonna say the the thing is, you could read just one article, you would understand. Like, I mean, I literally, when I heard about it, I literally read one article, and I kind of had this inkling before, but because if you follow history, this happened before.
Yeah,
I don't believe it was Fitch. It was either Standard & Poor's or Moody's. I can't remember which one.
Standard & Poor's the last time, I believe.
Yeah, S&P. Yeah.
Yeah. It was back around 2011, 2012 time frame. But really, it came down. If you notice too, it came down to a debt ceiling fight then with the Obama administration.
Yeah.
Where Republicans threatened to shut down the government. So lo and behold, you had this similar situation. More political brinksmanship, even more so taken to a more extreme this time around. And lo and behold, you have another downgrade, which they talk about. They literally say like the reason they downgrade is their concerns over the growing, the physical situation and the growing debt and the inability the inability of lawmakers and political brinksmanship to basically deal with this stuff. So it's really when you have people who basically are saying, hey, we'll play with whether we're going to pay our bills or not, or we'll play with raising the debt limit and all of this crazy stuff that's going on. That's really what's driving all this. It's not even purely financial because, at the end of the day, if you have people who are responsible financially, you can make the adjustments, whether it be, raising taxes or, cutting back some spending in some places to balance your budgets. But when you have people who aren't willing to compromise and, actually score political points by taking these extreme positions, that's what they're concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's coming from the right. And what I also kind of read into this as well is that their thoughts are basically, hey, what they say over the next 3 years, in my opinion, they're basically seeing a situation where Dems are probably going to win back the House. They'll probably control the Senate, but not enough, not the 60 votes you need to pass a budget. Because you remember they had, what's that again?
Supermajority.
Yeah. They won't have the supermajority, so they'll need some Republican votes. And they know basically, hey, if that's the case, you could see sort of another showdown. And same thing with the debt ceiling type of scenario as well, that you're going to have some people who are going to want to engage in this. Mm-hmm. And so I think it kind of signals that, hey, you're going to basically, I think, see what we're seeing now. Democrats control the Senate, but not a supermajority, control the House. So they'll have their priorities, what they want to do, and the presidency, but you won't see much cooperation from Republicans.
Yeah, because they don't, their idea is to try to, stall progress from even happening. And That's pretty much what it went down to. That's why you had this issue in the first place.
And that's why you usually only see this kind of stuff really on the Democrats, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You only see Republicans playing this type of brinksmanship under Democratic administrations. You don't see them doing this when Republicans are in office.
Right, because to MOT's point, the last time that this happened with Standard & Poor's was under Obama. And so every Democratic administration, like you just said, this happens. But if you let AB Media and the Yuck Yuck Caucus, tell their story, they'll make it seem like, Biden is doing a bad job. But in reality, this happened, under the Obama administration too. And so in every instance, Biden inherited all of the failings of Trump. Obama inherited all of the failings of the Bush administration. And so we see this kind of cycle repeated, but they don't actually acknowledge this. They try to make it seem like we're trying to run interference and cover for Biden to say that the economy is doing good. But that's exactly what we read on screen. We sat down and read it with him, and he agreed to it. So how can you come back, a week later and say, oh, according to the Black Brain Trust, the economy is doing good, not according to the people on the ground. All right, man. All right, man.
Not according to the National Bureau of Economics. It's according just to the Black Brain Trust.
Yeah.
They act like CNBC is some liberal ass source. They act like Bloomberg is some liberal ass source.
Dude, CNBC is where what's his name, who they say launched the Tea Party movement, Santelli. He's on that network.
Yeah. And it's like, the problem is, like, the more you call this out, is people just unwilling to do the work. So they go off the rails and say something stupid so that way we can educate and catch them up. That's what this is all about. It has always been about. It's always been about, we over here getting our stuff off. And while we're getting our stuff off, we're just going to say this stupid stuff so that way they can just bring us up to speed. This childish stuff has got to come to an end. But they have all this time to go in on women, all this time to talk about things that don't matter. When it comes time to things do matter, nowhere to be found. Listen, the people who are complaining are losing. They're telling you all about their insecurities and what they can't get past. And what these people cannot get past is simple and basic information that you can Google search. You can set up a Google alert that tells you about everything, about a specific subject. You think these people have done that? Of course not, they've done that. You want to know why? They're too good for the information. That's for other people to do. Their job is just to get their ish off about this woman and just be generally useless in life and just hope that no one else comes to the country and actually take care of business so that way they can be fully dependent on giving these dudes a leg up. No, that's not what's happening, man. People are moving. People are moving and no one is being dependent on these individuals. And they don't like that. They don't like their position at the bottom. And they don't like other people exposing them for being at the bottom as well. And the things that we're talking about is basic. Like dude, if these people was here during the last administration and before that for most of the Obama administration, dude, they had plenty of time to learn this stuff if it was a priority to them. But the priority is not learning this stuff and keep having their mouth open about the same issues. So I don't look. The only thing you can say, hey man, where do you live at? Okay, I'm never going to that state ever for anything. That's all you can do is just be able to cauterize and just leave these people where they are. At the end of the day, they've already decided that they're going to be doomers. They're not going to learn how anything works, and they're just going to keep doing the same dumbass thing over and over and over again. It's super easy to actually understand. If you read the article, it's kind of like the article he's reading. He's putting words together, but he doesn't read the words as if he's understanding the context of what's going on, even though he's reading the words. And even though he'll read the words from a legitimate source and they'll cite the opposite thing that's actually happening in the article. So it's like, why are you even reading the article if you don't even understand the context of the situation of what you're even reading from? I don't get it.
I get it. He thought he had a credible source that he was going to use against us to try and articulate that Biden is a failure. But we've already gone over this last week, so I'm not sure why he's trying to come back and make this sort of declaration that Biden is failing. Look at this source. You're going to argue against this source? No, we're not arguing against that source. We're providing the numbers for you. We went through a fact check. The fact check already stated what was said, what we had already said to begin with, that, you know, the Biden administration's policies are actually effective.
But see, the economy is supposed to be doing worse, though.
Yeah.
They want the economy to be doing bad, so that way they can have something to complain about. Who are these people? It's like,
Well,
okay, you want the economy to be bad, so that way you can have something to complain about. You're not going to participate tangibly in the actual process. You're not going to live in an area that's better than where you currently are at. So what are we doing all this for?
Well, MOT, to your point on the economy, they want to be bad. They want it because basically, like, you can then blame Biden and you have a better chance of electing Trump. That's what it really is. These guys may not do it, but when you look at the greater Republicans and you're hearing all this talk about the economy is doing poorly, this and that, it's really twofold. It's that because, you know, recession, I'm sure, you know, as a business owner, it can pretty much, you can almost speak it into existence. If you just convince people, oh, things are bad, people actually start, you know, tightening their belt and slowing up spending, you can literally create and speak that into existence. And that just hurts any sitting president if the economy is doing poorly and he's trying to go into re-election.
Right. Right. I mean, it's a smear campaign, but, you know, he's doing it.
But they needed to live. No, they needed to live.
Yeah.
They need the economy to be bad to live because they can't run out of complaints about Biden. Then they have nothing.
Yeah. Because once you take all that, once you take Biden off the table, they really don't have any other ways to solving the economy anyways.
If you see his policies are working too, that's the other thing. Like, you really can't have, because a lot of people don't sit down and do the reading, the study. And if they see that, hey, the economy is doing well under these policies, basically, you know, a lot of Republicans will call them tax and spend policies. Like, if they see that that's actually effective, then, you know, all this crazy stuff about, oh, well, if you just cut taxes to this and, you know, you just slim down government and all this, that'll grow the economy. All that just, you know, all of that supply side, Milton Friedman economics basically goes out the window.
Yeah. Yeah. So he called himself cooking us, you know, he was really gonna, you know, give us that work, you know, give us the smoke. And what it turned out to be was a nothing burger. And his boy, I Am Just Jules, you know, was trying to back him up and be the hype man, be the Flavor Flav of his public enemy. And it didn't turn out all that well. And so I'm just saying this, link is in the chat.
Hey, Mike, don't believe the hype. No, boy.
Yeah, I mean, the link is in the chat. I mean, we could actually have these discussions, but you're unwilling to have the discussion because you rather hide behind StreamYards and pretend like we said something that we didn't, you know. We never told you to vote for Biden, and we never told you who to vote for. We said, what are the issues of the day? And to the latter point, whoever that brother was, Jay, whatever his name was, he didn't know who that politician was. He said it in the clip. I don't even know who he was. Okay, but you think that he should somehow
a random dude?
Yeah, you think that this person, this elected official, who's not in your district, not even in your city, I think he's from like New Rochelle or something. You want this person to do things for you that you don't even understand in an area that you didn't even, he's not even an elected official at, for a person that you didn't even vote for, and you're going to give him that work? I mean, I don't get it.
Dude, that takes a lot of balls to walk up to somebody who does work on your behalf and then claim that he's not doing anything when it's actually you who didn't do anything. It's a lot of balls.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, big balls. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Remember? Yeah, he said that about Trump. You know, Trump has big balls. So what he wants to do with them, I don't know. I mean, that's his personal business. I think that I like these sort of engagements. I think when we have these sort of engagements, it really puts everything on the table, because they call themselves clipping me, right? You clipped me, but what did I say that was wrong? What do you disagree with? Right? What is the disagreement? You think that I'm telling you to vote for Biden? I never said anything like that. You think I'm telling you to vote for Democrats? I never said anything like that in that clip. So when you clip me, you got to make sure you go ahead.
I mean, the whole point is to take you out of context. Because they know the people who are listening to them are too stupid to actually want to understand what's coming out of your mouth. They're just like, yeah, we right, he wrong. That's all it is, man. It's nothing much more than that. They're not even invested in the why.
Yeah.
At this point. They don't care.
Yeah. It's just go ahead. All right.
I was gonna say the other thing too is that when they talk about the economy, even if you want to make the argument that the economy is not doing well, you have to also look at the context of you have a Fed that's raising rates.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. Like the Fed is purposely like it doesn't make sense in the sense of like you don't want to acknowledge that the economy is doing well under Biden, but then like the Fed is basically trying to raise rates to stave off inflation, which basically, you know what inflation is? It's basically an overheated economy. So it doesn't even make sense from that point because, okay, if you acknowledge that, okay, that means the economy is kind of taking off too quickly. So now they're trying to slow it down. So now if you say, okay, now it's a slowdown, well, yeah, that's what the Fed is trying to do. And the whole concern was like, hey, that you heard everybody talk about was, hey, there's going to be a hard landing or whether it's going to be a soft landing, whether, hey, they can basically thread the needle and slow it down without throwing the economy into a recession, or you just, it's so abrupt and it sinks the economy in a recession in the name of trying to stave off inflation. But these guys don't even get that angle.
Yeah. Like I said, we're all for the debate. We're all for the conversation, but don't try to take our comments out of context just so you can make your own content. It doesn't work that way. The thing here is this. What does this mean for Black men, right? How do you synthesize this information so that it makes sense for Black men? Instead of worrying about that, you're more worried about Biden, right? You want to get him out of office with all of his policies and replace him with people from a party that doesn't even have your best interest just so you can get rid of Biden. But you're so concerned about Black men and Black boys. This is the mindset of your average, manosphere person. A lot of people last week were upset with me personally because I brought up this whole 1.0, 2.0 thing. You didn't have this sort of thinking, in previous generation. It's this iteration of manosphere that you see and hear people, Black men in particular, who think like this and think that we're having an honest conversation, like we're operating in good faith. And we're not. We're just not. You just heard a PhD stream going back and forth with a woman on a panel about how to move forward. Like that shouldn't even be a conversation. That's not even a conversation for us. Go ahead, Renaissance.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I'd put a link in the chat to speaking to your point of trying to get Biden out of office and get the other party in. When you have a second, please bring that up because I want to highlight, where this is going for the right with some of these decisions that have been made.
Yeah, I was going to cover it till tomorrow, but
okay, we can wait till then.
Yeah. What's going on, Agon?
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I was just I was just chiming in. I was just listening to some of this, and I know you have some people here who were trying to make some comments. The downgrading of a credit rating, and now all of a sudden everything has fallen out of place. And do people really understand a lot of what's going on with that, and why there is a certain credit rating that has been judged a certain way, given a certain amount of debt that we're carrying, but yet we are growing in our gross domestic product. So our GDP and so forth has gone up modestly, and then not massively, but that's kind of what we're looking at. Fitch is one of rating systems. You got Moody's, what that really are going to take a look at where we are. But all of this is just a part of what we're looking at our overall economic situation, economic health, which, quite frankly, is we are not looking we're not looking bad, and Biden has not done a terrible job since he's been in there. As far as the economy is concerned, many others are looking for other stuff, but I have not heard much of anyone talking about kind of what the left, what the right is, what this far right is proposing, and how does that truly benefit us. And you keep questioning that. Renaissance questions it, MOT questions this, and others just outside of the brain trust are questioning this as well. And I get very, very, very little feedback from that. And I don't see where there's huge benefits. If there is, please point them out. I'm one who's going to be all, eyes, ears, and so forth to see it and hear it all. And I've heard nothing. So what all this other stuff is about, it's I really can't follow a lot of that, but I'm still open to hear what the other side has to say, where the benefits are, and I would like to see it. I would like to see where they feel it can be manifest, and where the policies and so forth are that are really going to be beneficial to us, really, and what are these people really looking for. So that's what I'd like to hear from a lot of these guys. I didn't hear any of that. I'm not going to sit here and call a lot of these guys crazy and stupid, even though I might think that, but I would like to hear some kind of cogent argument from these guys instead of saying, hey, this guy's got big balls or something else like that, something crazy like that. I'd like to hear something very cogent that kind of makes sense, that speaks to what this manosphere really is all about. I haven't heard anything as of yet, but I'm still waiting. I want to hear it. Anyway, go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to bring up this last piece here. This is actually from the White House's Twitter account. President Biden has signed over 300 bipartisan laws since taking office, including a once-in-a-generation investment in our infrastructure, the most significant expansion of benefits of toxic exposed veterans, and legislation protecting the right to marry the person who you love. This is from February. 300 bipartisan bills. Trump never passed even half of that. Not even half. So when people want to come up here and say, I don't see the economy doing good on the ground. Yeah, if you're an unproductive person, you're not really trying to level up or do anything with yourself, then what do you think is going to happen? See, in Indiana, you might go through Indiana and see some farmland that's not really doing too well. You might see some white people who are unemployed because factories, manufacturing jobs left, but that's not due to the Biden administration. That has nothing to do with Biden. You had a Republican governor's mansion in Indiana and Republican legislature in Indiana, and you don't look at them, but you look at Biden. Make it make sense, man. We're not having
don't ask them for anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like, what are we talking about here?
We don't hear anything from these people. I mean, the other side, if you will, I am very much open to hear any kind of sensible talk or sensible debate. Why I think this is a waste of time with a lot of these people is because they can't come up with anything. That's why I don't respect them. I certainly don't listen to them in any real way. They come up with nothing. I mean, I would like to hear something from the other side. I just don't hear anything. You guys are constantly criticizing them on that, and it's a legitimate criticism. You hear guys coming up here. You had this other person, this AB guy, come up here and say this stuff the other day, and sounded like an idiot. Unfortunately, he sounded like an idiot. It was unbelievable. So I had to leave. I didn't want to stand around and listen to that anymore. But then you listen to these other guys the other day. I think it was on Bernard's. It's pitiful. I mean, it's just. I don't know where these guys are coming from. I don't know where these guys are coming from, but if they can come up with something sensible and talk sense here, I would be all ears to hear some of this. They know nothing of the legislation that's going on. They know nothing. They have no idea of what they're talking about from the standpoint of of economics, or at all. And I don't know, man. This is kind of out there. So we just want to talk, truth. We want to debunk BS, and if there's legitimate, if there's a legitimate subject matter to really be broached here, I'm all for it. I would really like to listen to something sensible, but I'm just having a hard time hearing any of this. I just don't hear it. I would like to hear it, but I just don't hear any of it.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mike.
no, they've had their opportunity. I am just Jules and AB Media taking pot shots, but I'm like, the link's in the chat. You got until 10:45 to pull up and explain how you came to that conclusion. Instead of playing our clip and taking us out of context and then reading an article and not even interpreting it correctly, you got some explaining to do. But we're the bullies, right? We're the bullies in the manosphere. We go around bullying people and stuff like that. No, that's not necessarily true. We gave him, if you go back and listen to that stream, we gave him a lot of opportunity to state his position. Okay, we never cursed at him. We never talked over him. We didn't talk through him. We asked cogent questions. We didn't jump him. What was the problem? He had all the opportunity to say what he needed to say. And, he said what he said. He said Trump had big balls. I mean, that's his response.
Incredible.
That's his response. So what do you want us to say? If that's how Black men are voting at the ballot, then it's no wonder why, the opposite sex won't follow you or come to the table and negotiate. What are they negotiating with? You've abdicated all of your leverage at the ballot by voting for men with big balls. I mean, that's
oh, Mike, that's a low blow, Mike. Oh.
I mean, it's nuts, but
yeah, seriously.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
I mean, every time you think the highly finishites have actually maxed out, dude, they're just another level has been added.
The Phoenicians, man. The Phoenicians.
The Phoenicians.
Yeah.
The highly Phoenicians.
But that's what happens when you go over there, man, when you hang around content creators who just want to attack women all day and question women and, this person said this, and then you go on for like an hour and a half, dissecting what this woman said and, going after Umar Johnson or going after Mark Lamont Hill instead of just doing your homework. Just do your homework. Because even if you took me off the panel or you took the Black Brain Trust channel down, you still have to do your homework at the end of the day. This isn't a Black Brain Trust issue. It's not a Mike V issue. It's not an MOT issue. It's not anybody else's issue. It's your issue. This is a personal responsibility.
Alone.
Yeah. It's your personal responsibility to know what the issues of the day are that's going to impact you and other Black men who look like you, who have the same issues. It's not our responsibility. It's not the Black Brain Trust. It's not our channel. It's not us personally as content creators or contributors. It's not our responsibility. It's yours. And at the end of the day, attacking us isn't going to help you.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
How is people on the left telling people on the right about personal responsibility? And where'd that come from?
That's pretty conservative. That's pretty conservative. Yeah, I mean, and somebody like I am just Jules, he should know better. See, this idea, you see, I know what it is. These guys want politicians to come here and engage them to validate their place within the space.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. Make me feel important by you with your credentials as an elected official or a person running for office to engage me. Engage me, talk to me. No, you don't even know what the issues of the day are. You don't even know where your voting district is, but you want to sit up here and have a conversation with an elected official to talk about what? Especially in a state that you don't even live in. You want to talk to Mandela Barnes about what? You don't even live in Wisconsin.
You know, they want to tell them how they're a strong, independent black man who don't need a politician's help while talking to a politician about needing help.
I mean, it's crazy. These guys sound like absolute morons. But at the end of the day, that's essentially what they are. I mean, I hate to put it like that. I mean, I don't want to drop names on them, but these guys these are not the brightest bulbs on the tree, man. These ain't the sharpest tools in the sharpest tools in the shed. They just aren't.
They're not on like they're gone. They're not on the tree. They're still in the aisle. Haven't even been picked up. Haven't even been paid for, man. The bulbs are sitting there in the aisle, bro. They're not even on the tree.
I don't even think. I don't even think they made it out of the factory, dude. They haven't been finished. They haven't been finished up, man. To even be delivered, man, to the stores. So it's. They're totally underdeveloped. It's
the fix is so easy. It's just learn it once. Yeah. Learn it once.
Yeah.
Political entities are not coming. Political people are not going to come to them. They're not going to waste their time. A politician will come about if he sees that there could be, potential votes to be gained, greater name rec for them, having a good debate where they can put forth their policies and really highlight their positions. But talking to a bunch of crazies and you got to say the manosphere right now with how some of these guys are talking, and I mean some of these guys sound almost like domestic terrorists in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
They've been radicalized. They have no future.
Nobody wants to be around them. No one who's sensible wants to be around these guys. Let's take the vote away from these women. And let's, so they're white supremacists. These are black white supremacists, mm-hmm. Black anti-feminists, black. It's just they're all over the place. They sound like radicalized, fascists in a lot of ways. They're black, so they look crazy. And then they're talking crazy. They're weird. They're a weird bunch. People are not going to want to be around them to a large extent. They just aren't.
What would a Gary Chambers really gain from talking to people who don't even live in that state, who don't even, who don't live in Louisiana, who don't even understand who he is? Like, what would Gary Chambers gain out of that? Because raising money, it's one thing, but to court the vote and you don't live in the state, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Louisiana has one of the largest black demographics in the country, or at least in the South. If he wants to engage black people, especially black men, there's plenty of black men in Louisiana he can engage.
The only way it would make sense. No, I was gonna say the only way it would make sense is like if he was like trying to get outside money, or he had broader aspirations for a national office. That's the only way it makes any kind of sense.
Yeah. But it's just that they have this desire to engage politicians because what they want to do is beat up on Democrats. That's really what they want to do, is ask these sort of lunatic questions that don't really lead to anything, and then go down the rabbit hole. And Dems know not to do that. Because we saw that with Marcel Dixon and Raphael Warnock, Senator Warnock, and he came up there talking about reparations. And Warnock's looking at him and then looking at his security like, get this nigga away from me, please. And so that is the reality, that going after Clyburn, going after Warnock, never going to Lindsey Graham, never going to Mitch McConnell, never going after what's her face, Marjorie Taylor Greene in Georgia, never going after Brian Kemp about reparations. It's only Democrats.
Well, like I said, it shows how much people just are not serious about this. And
Yeah.
you were saying with Marcel Dixon, I don't know enough about the guy, but I mean, it's looking more and more like these people just, I don't know. It's kind of like Cornel West running for president. It's just like, what's your strategy here? Like, are you, is this just a publicity stunt? Are you trying to up your profile? Because when I sit down and look at the strategy here, I'm like, okay, even if you do Marcel Dixon successfully beat Jim Clyburn, you've now taken one of the highest ranking Black politicians in the entire U.S. House on multiple committees. The minority whip for the Democratic Party, and you replace him with a freshman congressman. And I don't know if these people pay attention, but freshman congressmen don't really get a lot done. Just because they're not on the committees, they usually don't have the caucuses and the relationships. Like, people are just missing. They think reparations is sort of this thing where, the more passion I have, the more likely it is to get done. It's like, nah, that's not how it works. Like, there's 435 members in the House of Representatives. Like, you got to get a majority of them to pass it, no matter how much passion you have about this issue.
Yeah.
Passion is only a substitute for action. That you are, the less action that you're actually taking. That's what's normally what it is in this context.
And it can't be a single issue either. Like, you got to have something on your platform outside of reparations. Like, we still have to govern. Like, you can't just give people reparations and then life's just perfect and we don't have to worry about anything else and maintaining and growing the economy, or just maintaining and improving the country as a whole. Like, and that's one thing people don't get. I'm just like, okay, yeah, you get some sort of economic foothold or something, or economic gain, but like, end of the day, your national security is in shambles, or the climate is in shambles. I'm like, what do you? It doesn't make any kind of sense if you're going to get reparations and the country is basically going to be in the toilet. Like, you got to still govern.
Well, see, the big issue is most of these guys. What are the big thing? What's the big complaint we hear? Well, if we don't get reparations, we're not going to vote. Well, how are you going to get reparations if you don't vote? Most of these people are not voting anyway. Most of these people are not even going to vote. That's a big problem. You're going to have some low voter turnout. A lot of these people are not going to participate. So they are running their mouths and just doing a lot of talking, because a lot of them are not going to come out. A lot of these people are not voting. They will not be voting. So, one of the key things, if people really want to be heard, or if you're on the right and you really want your position to be known well, and you want to push certain types of policies, if you will, whatever your positions are, you got to come out and vote. You're going to have to come out and vote. All right, you are. People can say whatever they want. There's going to be some issues, but I see the left is going to probably come out and vote pretty strong. Will they be able to outvote MAGA? I would say yes, they are. But in your local areas and so forth, where you're going to be affected the most by the policies that are going to come down in your towns and villages and states and so forth, you need to be really well organized there. Most people are not going to be organized, which is bad in this manosphere. Forget about it. Most of these people here are unregistered. I haven't taken a poll on this, but I'm absolutely sure, and most are, because a lot of people who we've talked to are not registered. So, that's an issue. That's why I think some of what we're doing is wasting a little bit of time, really going all over this a lot. But we do have to address the crazy how would I say, the misinformation that's going on. But I do not see this sphere as one that's going to have any effect really too much on the voting, if you will, because these people don't vote, and that's a problem as well. That is a problem. If you voted, that would be significant, but most of these people don't.
Yeah, let me play this final clip, man.
Am I the only person that bothers? Okay? We've had 19 million acres of black land stolen. Am I the only person who that's bothered with? I don't care right now. Okay? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is the same government. Look at these white people trying to stop someone talking about black issues. Get them on camera. Look at these white people trying to stop a black man talking about black American issues. These are the same white people that would have shown up at a lynching rally smiling. Look at them. I'm talking about black American issues, and look at them. Look at them. Get a good face because you're going viral. I'm talking about black American issues. If you don't want to hear about it, you can go back to the country club. Look at these white people. Look at them. Look at them, y'all. These are the same white Democrats who tell us they are our allies. These are the ones who say Black Lives Matter. But when you start talking about policies for those Black lives, they don't want to hear it. No, I'm not wanting no LGBTQ stuff. Give me a reparation stuff. Talk about reparations. If you are a black American, how are you not angry about the stuff we're going through? How are you not asking about what's going to be done for your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren? We are falling further to the bottom. I don't understand how any black person is not upset about this. And they do things for Hispanics. They do things for homosexuals. They do things for Asians. What are they doing for black Americans? What is going to be done for black Americans? Senator Warnock, you think you will not be held accountable, but y'all all will. That's why Stacey Abrams is struggling with black voters, because she's not talking about black policies for black Americans. But y'all do things for Native Americans. Y'all do things for Asians. Y'all have done things for Jews. You do things for the LGBTQ. But what about my black American brothers and sisters? And some of you want to tell me to be quiet? No, we've been quiet long enough. We have less homes now than we did during Jim Crow. Anyway, he's everybody's senator. That means black American senators too. That means black American senators too. Look, y'all, sometimes you're going to have a black person arguing against you. He's black American senators too. He's done things for Ukrainians. He's done things for Ukrainians. He's done things for Ukrainians. He's done things for illegal immigrants, so he can do things for us as well. He's done things for these other groups, so he can do things for us as well. He's done things for other groups. He can do some for black Americans as well. He's done things for other groups. He can do things for black Americans as well. I speak for me. I speak for me, and I speak for the people that feel like me. I speak for the people that think like me. I speak for the people that think like me. So I'm asking the black American people, I'm asking the black Americans who are upset about the way black Americans are being treated, why are we all not asking him, what are you going to do specifically for black Americans? Anytime someone asks for our vote, we need to ask them, what are you going to do for us? What are you going to do for us? They've done things for Asians, okay? Well, I'm saying specifically for black Americans, specifically for us. They've done things for Asian Americans. They've done things for Native Americans. But where's the policy to deal with all the stuff we've been through? That's all I'm asking. Well, I'm saying,
to bring him up to
no,
speed.
but I'm not saying it's his responsibility.
See, all our brother Marcel needed.
Well, this is first of all, the guy is at a rally talking about black land ownership, and you have the person who he literally ignores the fact that this is the black senator that put money in a bill for black farmers to wipe out their debts with all the black land we've lost. The other thing I find interesting too is the way he delineates groups. It's like he acts like black people can't be a part of other groups. Like we talked about, he's done things for quote illegal immigrants. Like he acts like those couldn't be like Haitians or something like that fall in that category. Or he's like, they're doing stuff for the LGBT communities. Like there are some black people who are actually a member of that community as well. Like
No.
All of it
And
is
he's
Has
one
to
of them.
just be for black people. Just him. No
Yeah.
one else.
Even with a Supreme Court decision that says otherwise.
No, it's just like you can tell like this is rhetoric that's it kind of feels like it's been put out there, and it's not a coincidence that I think it's Angela and Stanton King who's highlighting this.
Yeah.
That these people want to show up and act like they're the first people who ever asked a Democratic politician, or that black people aren't smart enough to ask their Democratic politicians like, hey, what policies that you have will benefit Black Americans? Like they act like that's a question that just got asked the first time in 2023.
No interest, no idea about the process. What's in it for me?
Private property.
This is private property. We own this property. Come on down. Come on.
All right. So anyway, what's he going to do for us? What's he's going to do for us?
Please don't let me call the police.
Okay, you call the police. They'll probably shoot.
You see, you gonna fuck around and find out. You gonna fuck around and find out, man. You on somebody's private property, causing a ruckus. Now everybody gonna play games with you. Either you're gonna get stolen or the police gonna come pick you up. You choose which one, but you're gonna fuck around and find out.
Now, the other thing I wanted to highlight too is that like the politics that they're kind of pushing like are really kind of antithetical to Black America historically. Like from what you've seen, like Black America has enough sense to know that you can't just push a policy that's solely gonna or have a bunch of policies that are just solely for Black people and no one else is gonna benefit. Like it just if you go back to Reconstruction, for example, one of the reasons you have public schools in the Deep South, in somewhere like a Georgia, is because Black people during that time pushed for public education for all people, just because they realized, hey, if you want an actual society that functions, can be competitive in the world, and can actually hold up a democracy, you can't just have a small group of people who get an education. And that's where some of these people don't even see the big picture of, hey, there are certain issues you have to go and push for that are just Black issues, but you can't sit up here and act like this person is just a senator for you and for no one else.
Yeah.
Black man out
Yeah,
here
that's
saying
painful.
what they gonna do for
Go ahead.
Said, man, this is painful, man. The only thing you have to do is read, learn the actual process. We ain't got to go out there doing all this dumbass shit, man. Just don't, I ain't got to.
To this man about it. Y'all see how people dying, and you not saying a fucking thing about it. Get out of my finger in your face. Get the hell away from me. I know how to walk. Look, anyway, whatever. Call the cops. Call the cops. Call the cops. Tell them to shoot. Tell them to shoot. Call the cops and tell them to shoot. Call the cops and tell them to shoot. You don't give a fuck about Black people. Poverty, pimp. Now.
not the
Mine's
poverty
gone.
pimp. Listen,
What'd you say, MOT?
So the dude's mind's gone. Like,
That's how.
you're not talking to a rational person there, man.
Yeah, that's how most of the guys in the manosphere think. Most of the guys in the manosphere think just like that. This idea: cut the check. Biden's not doing anything for us. Get rid of him. Replace him with a Republican who's not going to do anything at all because it's better than anything is better than the left. Even though you ask them what ideas they have that would be of their interest. Well, I believe in affordable healthcare. I believe in reparations. I believe in economic justice. I believe in anti-mass incarceration policies.
Police reform.
Yeah, police reform. George Floyd Just Police Act. You run down and they're so concerned about school reform and stuff like that. And when you really put it all on the table, you're really just a Democrat. But in reality, you're taking your frustration out on the very people that you want to do things for you to go over to another group of people who ain't going to do nothing for you.
It sounds like, too, Mike, some of these people honestly sound like they want to be pandered to. Like they want the politician, they want the Democratic Party to come to them, tell them, yeah, everything that you ask, we're going to give you. And then like and basically make them feel important and then go past none of it, and that would be enough. Like that's genuinely what I'm starting to think, because when I hear some of this rhetoric and them saying, well, these people got this, I'm just like that's what you're really, they got an Asian hate though. That's what you really want. You want something that you can pander, that has something for Black Americans, whether it has zero effect or has minimal effect, versus something that may be for everybody, but could really disproportionately help you. It's almost people want their ego massaged.
And don't forget, some of these people are crazy. You cannot count that out. Some of these guys are not wrapped too tight.
I don't want to give him that credit though, Nagone. I don't want to give him the credit of hiding behind the idea of being crazy.
I'm not saying that this guy per se is, though I do think his mind is definitely gone. But you have that element of madness running around in these spaces. You have some of these people who are moving towards the unhinged. I don't see how we can deny that. What I've heard over the last few days and some of the stuff I've heard, there's no question in my mind that is a factor. That's a factor. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah. You going to say something, MOT?
No, it's just at the end of the day, these things have easy fixes.
Yeah.
And they're not interested in instituting.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, Superman Kingdom Come, the moment you start locking people up, you're going to have more prisoners than you do the people who are actually on the outside.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, this is where we at, but I'm glad that it's so in front of everybody's faces that can't nobody just not see what's going on here. What it is modernity is exposing these people. Like, it's not even that they care about Black people. They can't make it in society themselves, and that's what this is about. Them being put ahead of everybody else. They want to be advanced before they actually need it, and or even understand what's going on. And I think that's just as big of a disaster than them being given shit that they didn't earn or even respect.
Well,
that's reparations, man, bro. You never gonna hear the end of this shit. They're gonna think that not doing anything and not participating is the answer to everything. Nah, fuck that.
Well, the thing is too, I mean, when you listen to that, I mean, the funny thing is, like, Angela Stanton King is highlighting that, like, that's something politicians should aspire to. I'm just like, he's talking about, hey, what are they gonna do for grandkids? I'm like, is this really an individual you want making like decisions, like based on what you saw in that clip, making decisions that are going to affect your life, your kids' lives, your people in your family's lives? I mean, I don't see how any of that, of what I just saw, like, said, hey, this is a rational human being that I won't making decisions that affect my life.
Nah, man, this dude don't speak for me, man. Nope. Part his own party.
yeah, exactly.
And again, very simple. Sir, where do you stay? All right, never go into that city.
Where is your party in power at? Okay, I'll make sure not to be visiting that
area. All right, man, let's get out of here, man. Thank you all for joining us. Please hit the like button on the way out and share the video if possible. Hit that notification bell so